confident, walk them into their purpose, and then allow them to catapult into success, which they have defined for themselves. I looked at a scripture verse this morning that literally came to my phone, and it says that wisdom, when it is properly applied to understanding by knowledge, is what leads to success. And so in this book, I share my journey to success, a journey that I'm still walking on, but also a journey that I've learned from others, from mentors, from coaches, from even many of you who are attending today. And I wove this together with not just the historical truth of what it means to be successful, but also combining it with modern day relevance and paradigms and models that we can all learn from and cultivate. I talk about environmental cultivation. You know, we're experiencing environmental change, whether we like it or not. In our world, it's cold when it should be warm. There's fires, there's hurricanes, there's all these things that are actually making history. But I found out that cultivating environment is not just physical. It's also our personal selves, the environment that we cultivate within each and every one of us. So I talk about how to sharpen your vision, how to find effective strategies of aligning what it is that you desire and what are the things that you need to accomplish that. And then we talk about influence, because all of us want to feel significant. We want to influence. We want to have a positive change in our world, in our community. And so it led me again on this journey of purpose. Dr. Miles Monroe often said that if you want to know the purpose of something, you ask the creator of that. Just really big word, but basically meaning that is what we're doing capable of producing the result that we want? So I go back to even this launch today. I had planned to travel to all the different places that you see of greeting in order to do a book tour. I was looking forward to it, and then COVID happened. And I could have asked myself, okay, well, maybe this isn't to be. So just don't do anything, just wait until 2021. But no, I thought, if there's ever a time that we need to press forward I can hear my physics teacher going, did you learn anything? Yes, of gravity and all the things that we've utilized to create airplanes and the things that we enjoy. And so I look at effective strategies as two parts. So strategy is kind of the large picture. It is the large why of how and why we want to do things. But tactics, I should say, are more the how. Because a lot of times we can have large strategies and say, this is what I want to do. I want to write a book. I want to start a child's education center. But we fail to look at the how we're going to do it, the tactics of how to do it. These tactics will help us in looking at benchmarks of success, benchmarks of industry standards, analytics. What are we getting back? What are the feedbacks? You know, COVID has actually provided a lot of different opportunities. So I know here in Atlanta, we have several certain protocols, certain etiquettes, even just how to do business. And that was great. But then I realized that I'd have to develop the tactics. How are we going to get there, April? And so I began to study myself. I actually became a student of the process. And so I looked for people, again, who were in those places, who had experience. I invested time and finances into learning so that I was able to come back and to give it away. But you know, the beauty of creativity is that the more you use it, the more you get back. And that, again, is a principle that's found in scripture. It's amazing. And it's almost, okay, so I'll tell you what I did during COVID too. I decided to try to be a green thumb, right? So I decided to grow some vegetables. I thought I'm gonna grow some vegetables, and I did. So here's the story. So I went and I got these pots and I started growing vegetables, something I'd never done before because I literally was living pretty much, you know, out of suitcases. But then I noticed it taught so many lessons that as I planted, I looked and I was like, wait, I don't see any, you know, tomatoes on this vine. I don't see any, you know, peppers. And then all the things that I learned about fertilizing. So I had to get fertilizer, and I put fertilizer on them. I made sure I watered them, placed them in the sun. And you know what happened? Something very simple. I know scientifically we could talk about, you know, photokinesis and all these things and assess what are the things that are needed. I talk about the 5 capital model in the book. I know the first thing everyone thinks of is finances, but you know what? That's not even the #1 capital. So I'll leave it at that. You'll have to discover it in the book. But it allowed me to pivot from one mindset, one perspective, into another. And that's really what's happening right now in our world. We're having to shift from old paradigms, break some of the old models. Some are not to be completely destroyed, but some to be built upon. And that's really what you learn through the journey. But I know that humans are resilient. Outliers, that it actually takes 10,000 hours in developing a skill or a task to become proficient, to become an expert. But then I also look at capacity. And, you know, recently for 2020, the World Economic Forum looks at what are the things that are necessary during this year and moving forward to be successful. And they talk about things, and this is capacity building, like growth potential. Is there potential in growth? How do they expect? We have to be dedicated a day, but because the amount of time that we allot to things that don't lead us along the purpose and the vision that we have for how to adjust. We learn how to cultivate, again, what's within us. I share about being a thermostat versus a thermometer. And I found myself in that along my journey, and it still continues. You know, as you grow your sphere of influence, tables that you're invited into, rooms, you meet different persons with different personalities. And I remember my first experience, I was working on an event here in Atlanta with about 50,000 attendees. So there was a lot of moving parts. And so we got into the strategy room, often called the war room. I don't like the word war room, but I will take it on the industry standard, that's what they call it. And basically all the key leaders of these different elements were in this room. And everybody starts complaining about this is going wrong, and voices start to rise a bit, and, you know, tempers are a little short. I'm saying that it's important to have mentors and coaches in your life. No one knows everything. And so it's important that we realize that there are people who know more, who've experienced more, who even on their journeys will walk along with us. You know, Solomon also said, he says that if you walk as a companion with a wise man or woman, that you will be wise. But those who walk with foolish, dull-witted persons, they themselves will experience harm. And so I encourage you today that as you sharpen your vision, don't be afraid to reach out to people who have experienced things, who know maybe more, have more expertise. It's okay to do that. It actually helps to build you up. And it's very important. And as you reach out, remember that it's your job to reach out to them. They're not going to reach out to you. So if you're looking for mentorship, if you're looking for someone to help you along, you have to make the first move, initiate the first move.